starting. We are live and in action. Hey, why don't you just put it right there? Okay, cool. So they'll get to see me and my hands and everything that I'm doing.
Perfect.
Awesome. I hope everyone's doing great tonight. I don't know which camera to look at. I don't like that being there. So we're going to put it over here. There we go. Perfect. So welcome everyone to tonight's webinar. We're going to share with you the best way for you to get off to a fast start. And so I'm Jessica Hayes. I'm a triple diamond with Zija International. This is my husband, Brandon Hayes. He told me everything that I know. He's pretty intelligent. He's pretty special. And so we're excited to be live with you all tonight and give you all the clues, like I said, to help you get off to a fast start. So I want to start off by sharing with you how I found Zija. And I can tell you that it started about 6 years ago. And I was working in retail management, about 80 plus hours a week, struggling financially. I had just graduated college. I was 23 years old. And I was in debt, tens of thousands of dollars in debt, had a degree in healthcare administration. And I was just looking for something that I could control, that I could have the lifestyle that I really wanted to have. And so I had a family member approach me, and it's actually a very funny story. He approached me. He said, hey, I have this business, an opportunity. I want you to join me. We're going to get rich. And it's really funny. My response was, absolutely not. I don't want any part of that. And I was not very intelligent when I was 23, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking, but I continued working my jobs, and things changed for me. And the week of Christmas in 2010, I believe it was, I clocked 100 hours at my job. And I don't know if any of you have ever done that before, but it really puts a toll on you. And so I started to really question what I was doing, and decided that maybe that's not the path I wanted to go down anymore. And so I went back to that family member, saw what had happened for him. He had made a lot of money. And to be quite honest, I was pretty jealous. And so I said, you know what, teach me what you know. I want in. You're doing something special. And so something that you'll find out is that Brandon and I have a love story that kind of intertwines with Zija. We re-met because of this business. It's a very interesting story, and maybe we'll meet you one-on-one. You'll have to ask us about it when we do meet you. But I'm going to let Brandon share with you how he found Zija, and then we're going to dive right in.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. So I'll give you the elevator version of my story. So I took a look at Zija for the first time, age 23, same age Jess, when she took a look. And at the time I was working 3 jobs, working about 80 hours a week. I was a full-time student. And, that's okay. I've never been scared to work hard. I've never been scared to put in my time. But the problem for me was that even though I was working hard and I was doing what most people were doing, I was kind of getting the same results that most people get. And I looked around me, and the writing was on the wall. I saw that most people weren't getting in life where they wanted to get. In fact, Henry David Thoreau, I think he puts it best. He said, most people live a quiet life of desperation only to arrive safely at their graves. And most people have a lot of limits on their life and what they can accomplish in their life. And of course, those limits often are financial limits. They're often time constraints. They have to work. They have to trade a lot of their life away from their family, away from the things that they're passionate about, in order to make enough money to put food on the table. And so I saw these people doing this, and I said, you know what? That system is obviously not working for the majority of people, and so we got to do something different. And I saw Zija International. I saw it as a vehicle to help me get me from where I was to where I wanted to go, and I saw it as a vehicle to really put me in a position to have a lot more choices and options. So I dove in head first. I got started age 23. I didn't have a lot of skills. I didn't have a lot of credibility. I didn't know much. I'm a college dropout from Nowheresville, Kentucky. And for those of you that know me, you've met me in person. I'm not that tall. I'm 5'6" on a good day, but I didn't have a lot going for me. From the outside looking in, most people would say there's not a lot of reasons why someone like me would see a lot of success. But I got myself attached to the right people, and people that knew what they were doing. They were qualified to help me get to the next level, and they were willing to help me get to the next level. And of course, they were leaders inside of Zija, so I locked arms with them, started building my business. They taught me a very simple system, some of which we're going to be talking about tonight, so you guys can learn some of the same things that we learned. They taught me some of that stuff, and they showed me the support. And in about 18 months, I was making enough income where I was able to walk away from my corporate job. I was able to get myself out of the corporate pyramid scheme and walk away from corporate America. And I haven't had a job since I was 24 because of the residual ongoing passive income that Zija International provides for us. And now my wife, we just got married a few months ago. We live on the beach. We got a little house on the beach, you know, and it's just provided us with a lifestyle that I can promise you we would never have been able to reproduce working a traditional 9-to-5 type job. We would never have been able to have the time freedom that we have. We would never have been able to produce the type of income that we've been able to produce. And more importantly, we would never have been able to impact as many people as we've been able to impact, you know, with this natural health revolution with Zija International. So we're just super thankful. We've been blessed, and now we're paying it forward. We're trying to reach down and reach out to help as many people as possible. And of course, we've got the best vehicle on the planet to be able to do that. So Jess, I'll turn it to you.
Awesome. Well, first off, we want to welcome you guys to Zija International. And some of you guys that are watching, you're brand new, you just got started, maybe a couple weeks in, maybe you just got started today. And some of you, maybe you've been in a couple of years and you're hitting the restart button, but whoever you are watching, we're gonna give you some tips, and we're excited for you guys to be part of Zija International. Brandon and I can see this vision with this company, and it's huge. We have launched the natural health revolution, guys, and it is insane. We're actually taking it to Australia in 6 weeks. I guess it's actually about 2 months out that the actual event's going to be. We just launched the information to the Australia team, and so we're really excited to be heading out there for a month. But we're talking about anyone who's on this call, you're part of the natural health revolution. So what I want to do, Brandon, is actually turn it back over to you and share with everyone a little bit about Zija. Everyone's obviously, they've already got started, but share with them that vision of where is Zija going? You know, this year, this is our 10-year anniversary year. So where's Zija going this year and, you know, 5-10 years from now? Yeah,
so, and that's a loaded question, right? It's a long answer, but I'm going to try to keep it short. So let me tell you something. This all started with a documentary. Many of you already know this, a documentary that aired on the Discovery Channel several years ago on a botanical, a plant called moringa. It's culminated now into what we call the natural health revolution. It's become so much more. We have such a wider net to cast. We have such a robust opportunity to go out and reach and impact so many people all over the world. And as Jessica mentioned briefly, you know, this is not Zija, Kentucky, where I'm from. This is not Zija, United States. This is Zija International. This is a global opportunity where we can literally, over the next several decades, we can impact millions, potentially billions of people if we do our job right and we get this thing out there, we spread this message. So I want to talk about the natural health revolution. What does that mean? Well, when we all get together, when we all buy into this concept of the natural health revolution, what it's going to do is it's going to unlock some possibilities for people in terms of those limits that I mentioned. And I only mentioned a couple of them, but I'm going to talk to you about life unlimited. And I'm going to tell you what life unlimited means. You see, there are 4 pillars, we believe, to live a life unlimited. The first pillar is health and wellness and beauty. So most people are looking for a way to get healthy. They're looking for a way to increase their wellness, their vitality, and improve their quality of life, or look better, feel better. And so health, wellness, and beauty is a core component. It's a pillar of living a life unlimited. The second pillar of living a life unlimited is financial freedom. And financial freedom, you see, most people are living a life that is very limited by their finances. We have a financial vehicle, an opportunity to go out and impact people financially and help them create an additional stream of income. The third pillar is what we'll call personal development. You see, you're either growing or you're dying. There is no in between. There is no static. We see it everywhere. We see it all around us. We see it in nature. You can literally look outside right now. You can look at a tree and you can tell whether that tree is growing or dying just by looking at it. And we're the same. There's no difference. We're either moving forward or we're moving backwards. So we promote improving yourself and growing yourself through personal development programs. That's the third pillar. The fourth pillar is an active lifestyle. Get your body moving. And if you'll do all of these things, these 4 pillars, they'll build a house called Life Unlimited, and you'll be able to go out and live a life of freedom and be able to do things that you didn't think were possible, but you'll be able to impact people, you'll be able to leave a legacy, and that's what this natural health revolution is all about. So we're getting people excited about the launch of this natural health revolution. That's what we're a part of, guys. You've just joined Zija International, whether you've been in for a week, a month, a year, or 10 years, doesn't matter to me. You're a part of this natural health revolution, and each of us need all of us. All of us need each of us, and we need to understand that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves, and it's the natural health revolution. It culminates when we participate at the highest level. It can culminate by us experiencing those 4 pillars of Life Unlimited at the highest levels, and we can truly live a life without limits, a life unlimited, unbounded, because of those 4 pillars. So our dogs are barking. So this is real life, guys. Our dogs are going nuts over there. So just understand, guys, that we have an opportunity to go out and impact people because of this natural health revolution. We've got an opportunity to do something very, very special, and you're a part of something. You're a part of something very, very special. So that's the natural health revolution. I hope that you'll all buy into that concept. I hope you'll get excited about it. I hope that you'll go out and share that with other people. And we're going to talk about, how do you do that? How do you launch your business? How do you share this with people properly? Because I'll tell you this, it always boggles my mind a little bit. It perplexes me a little bit that some people get involved in network marketing, they get involved in Zija, and they think that, you know, they get excited, they go to an event or they listen in on a call or something, they get excited, and then they immediately think of 4, 5, 6 people. They think of their mom and their best friend and, you know, their uncle and their aunt, and they're thinking, man, these people would really love to participate in this. And then they go talk to those people with little or no skill. They do it all wrong, and that's okay. We all mess up, but they do it all wrong. And they kind of treat this business like a lottery ticket, kind of like it's a scratch off. You know, they scratch off mom, and they scratch off best friend Billy, and they scratch off Uncle Joe and Aunt Sally, and then they toss this business in the gas station parking lot like a lottery ticket. And that's how most people treat it. Those same people probably went to school, a lot of them. They probably spent a lot of money and spent a lot of time to get some sort of degree or some sort of you know, piece of paper that would allow them to just go hopefully find a job, to hopefully make some money. And so I say that to say this, guys, this is a real business, and if you'll treat it that way and understand that there are real skills involved. Now, the good news is that all of them are very easy to learn. These activities that we're going to be talking about tonight to help you get off to the right start, to get off to a fast start, these activities are all simple to do, but they're very simple not to do. It's very easy to do, easy not to do. So we're going to talk about a couple of those things, and I'll let Jess kind of hit that off.
Awesome. So most of you guys have already got your welcome kit. You got your shipment in the mail, and so in the welcome kit, you get a document that looks like this. And inside this document is your first 48 hours that you want to fill out. And so some of you may have already done this, and if you did, then you're way ahead of the curve, and so hats off to you. But we're going to go through a little bit of it. And so the first thing I want to talk about is finding your why. Why are you building this business? Why are you taking these products? What is your reason for doing this, for joining this team? And so I can share you what my reason was when I got started, and they're all going to be different. I can tell you that the one thing you don't want to do is don't make your reason why to make money. It's got to be something deeper than that. If we all made a reason why to make money, we'd all be rich, right? But I had a reason why that was a little bit more than that, and it was to, number one, get to the beach. I wanted to live on the beach. I always had a dream to live on the beach, and so that was my number one goal. And so my second goal that I wrote down when I got started with Zija was I wanted to go to Australia. And you guys heard me say a while ago that we're going here in in about a month. We touched down in Australia, and so those were the 2 reasons why I joined Zija, because I saw Zija as a vehicle to get me to where I wanted to be. And so I don't know what your reason why is, but I want to help you figure that out. And so I want Brandon, he does such a great job sharing this story about having a reason why. And so if you will you share that story?
Yeah, so here's the deal, guys. If your why is not strong enough to make you cry, it's not strong enough. Because I'll tell you what, This business is easy to get in. It's also easy to get out. And I see it every day. I'll tell you something. If you don't have a strong enough reason why, the first time somebody tells you no, or somebody says something silly, uneducated statement like, oh, this is a pyramid scheme or something crazy like that, you're going to quit. They're going, you came in this business, they'll blow you right out of this thing if you don't have a strong enough reason why. You see, my reason why, same things that you're going to experience as a brand new distributor in Zija, the same things that you're going to experience, Jess and I have experienced them. Every top leader in Zija has experienced the same things. The difference is, the reason why they didn't quit is they had a strong enough reason why. Their why was so strong it made them cry. And so here's what I'll tell you. I'll give you an analogy. Picture this. If there was a 2x4 just laying on the ground. So picture a 2x4 laying on the ground. Now, if I were to stand at one end of that 2x4, the opposite end of you, and I were to wave a $20 bill at you, and I would say, hey, if you'll just walk across that 2x4, I'll give you this $20 bill. Would you do it? The answer is probably yes. Why? Because it's simple. It's easy to do. You'd walk across that 2x4, no problem, and you would earn $20. Now, let's change the circumstances just a little bit. Let's say I raised that same 2x4 about 20 stories high in between two skyscrapers in New York. Right? Two skyscrapers, the same 2x4 is connecting those two buildings. I'm standing at one end, you're standing at the other. Would you still walk across that same 2x4 for 20 bucks? The answer is probably not. Why? Because the circumstances have changed a little bit. Now, what if I were to give you 100 bucks? Well, you probably still wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it for probably any amount of money, right? Because you would be risking your life. Now, let me tweak the circumstances once more. Same 2x4 in between two skyscrapers in New York, same 2x4. You're at one end, I'm at the other. And in this building, opposite of the one you're standing on, the building is in flames. And in fact, there's a member of your family, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your child, they're in that building and the building is engulfed in flames, and if you don't do something about it, they're probably going to perish. Now, what are you going to do? Here's the answer for most of you, if you have any gumption about you at all. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to run across that same 2x4, and I don't have to pay you a dime. See, I don't have to give you any money. Why? Because the why is much stronger. All right, so when your why is strong enough, the how doesn't matter. When your why is big enough, the facts don't even count. When the why is strong enough, you will figure out any how. And so that's where we have to start. We have to start with, why are we doing this? If you're just doing it for money, some people come to the table because of money, but it can't be money, money, money. It's got to be, what can the money do for you? Maybe you're going to retire your spouse. Maybe you're going to retire your parents. Maybe you're going to, put something in place for your children for their college fund, whatever it is, it's going to be. But if you're going to do something extra, if you're going to step out of your comfort zone and go out and do something special and leave a legacy, guys, you're going to have a strong reason why.
That's right. And so what I want you to do, if you have pen and paper right now, which I hope you do, I hope you are prepared with that, is I want you to write down a couple of reasons why that you are doing this business, and make some of them huge, make some of them small, but give yourself a couple of them so that you can always, every day our heartstrings are a little different. Something that would impact me today might not, be as strong on my mind tomorrow. And say, write a couple of them down so you can have them as daily reminders. And so moving on, I want to talk about having goals. And having goals in this business, it's key. You cannot do this business without having goals. And I can share one of them with you, and then I'll let Brandon, of course, go a little bit more in depth. But there was a goal that he had back when we were dating, and it was that he would not get engaged until we hit triple diamond.
I know you're going to share that.
I know. It just kind of came to mind. It was a really strong goal of his, and I was really trying to get him to change that goal, but he was like, no, I've got to hit triple diamond. That's just when I know I'll be financially where I want to be before I have a wife. And so I thought, well, what better thing to do than just go help him go triple diamond, right? And so we blasted through. We hit triple diamond. Here's the cool thing is we set a date to it, and we actually beat that date. And so putting a date beside that goal, if your goal is to, that can be a money number, it can be a money goal, to make $10,000 your first year in the business, put a date, in my first 12 months, write the actual date down. So March 26, 2017, you want to make $10,000 over the next 12 months. Write it down. Even better yet, let's work backwards from that. And if you want to make $10,000 over the next 12 months, what do you need to make every month? And so, Brandon, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of dig a little deeper into setting short-term and long-term goals.
Yeah, so if we were to imagine this were a journey, right? Imagine that we're going from California to, say, New York. Now, you wouldn't hop in your car and travel from California to New York without having some sort of map. You know, nowadays we would probably use our cell phone GPS or whatever, but you wouldn't set out on that journey without having some sort of charted course, right? That'd be ridiculous if you didn't have a clue on how to get there. But see, that's what most people do. Whether it's in their normal, you know, in normal life, people don't have goals. They have nothing. They don't know. They're not aiming for anything, and you can't hit a target that you can't see. They've not aimed at anything, and so of course, what do they hit? Nothing. And that's why most people go to work and go to sleep and go to work and go to sleep, and that's why most people end up not accomplishing much. And at the end of their life, they realize they have more regrets than they have accomplishments. And so I'll tell you this, that the top 3% of achievers in the world, they have goals. They know where they're headed. They have yearly, weekly, monthly, daily goal. They have goals, right? And so you have to know where you're headed. And so, and not only that, you would have a, you know, if we're going to California to New York, we would have a charted course, but we would also have milestones along the way. And guess what? What if we came to a road closed sign or some construction or something? What would we do? We would find a detour and we would find a way around it, right? So understand this, that you write down some solid, concrete goals, things that you're going to accomplish, and attach them to your reasons why. Okay, so your goals, that's sort of like the roadmap in your business of what you're looking to accomplish, milestones along the way, pit stops along the way. And so at the end of the day, goals in concrete, plans in sand. You got to be versatile. You got to understand that, yes, set the goal. That doesn't mean it's going to happen or it's going to pan out exactly the way that you think it's going to. Guys, that's called being an entrepreneur. That's called you know, being an achiever. It's get knocked down 7 times, get back up 8, because you're going to go hit your goal. See, not hitting your goal one time and then quitting, that's like having a flat tire, getting out of the car and then slashing the other 3 tires. That'd be ridiculous, right? And so at the end of the day, we still have to get to our destination. Why? Because it's attached to our reason why, because it's important to us. And so set goals, short-term and long-term goals. Where do you want to be in the next 30 days? Where do you want to be in the next 90 days? Where do you want to be in the next 2 to 5 years? Put those goals in place, and like Jessica said, work backwards until the point that you're at now to figure out, what do I have to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to accomplish that.
And something that I can tell you is, this isn't something we did in the beginning. It is something that we're actually doing now, and I wish we would have started it earlier, which is we actually run our life like a business. And that might sound a little strange to you, but you know, we're 29 years old and we don't have a job, so that's a little strange too. So I'm just saying that if you want to do something big in this, maybe that's what you should do, is run your life like a business, which means, you know, we wake up every morning and we have a morning meeting, just me and Brandon. You know, we cite some you know, words of affirmation, and is that what it's called? Yeah, so we do that, you know, just to get our minds in the right frame set. And so, yeah, so anyways, short-term, long-term goals, make it a roadmap to your success. And so write those down with your pen and paper that I know you have right now. Write that down and have that in front of you. And so moving on, the next thing is you want to get connected to everything that's happening. And so what that means is we have weekly calls, we have monthly calls. It might be your own personal team call that you're doing with your sponsor, your upline diamond. There's the Zija Nation call, which is the first Tuesday of every period. Of course, if you're not sure when that's going to be, then get with your upline diamond, your upline leaders. They're going to let you know. We're currently in cycle, is this cycle 4? We just turned into cycle 4. And so not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, we'll have the big Zija Nation call. So be sure you're plugged into that. You also need to be sure you're plugged into ZijaEvents.com. That's where you're going to find the global list of all the events happening. And it's important because, surprisingly, what you'll find out is that you have contacts in another country. And you might not be thinking about it right now, but we're going to go over something in a minute, and it might help you think about it. And so being sure that you are connected, having the numbers of 3 to 5 leaders above you or around you, whether it's upline, crossline, sometimes below you. If you've been in the business a while, maybe you have a couple leaders that, you know, are on one of your legs, and so you reach out to them. That's what we do. We reach down into our team, and you know, we get advice from our leaders. We use our leaders for connection calls. They do an amazing job, and so we use the resources that are around us. So be sure that you're connected to everything that will keep you informed. And so you'll also notice, if you're on my website, if you went to live.jessicahayes.org, or if you are not there, don't go there right now, just write that down. I have a list of resources that you can use to stay plugged in. It's just a tab below the live stream of video, so be sure you get that just so you can get connected. And so moving on, I want to go over the most important part of this business. Without this, it's the gas to your car. Without this, it won't work. And that is having a list. And the list needs to be on paper. And what's the saying? If the list is, if it's in your head, that's where your check's going to be.
That's right. It won't exist.
It won't exist. And so writing it down on paper is almost like writing your check. So write your list down on paper. And if you have this little form, then it's got memory joggers to it. And there's several memory joggers online that you can get. This one's really great. It's people you feel have influence over you, health-centered people, people who have health issues, people who are trying to lose weight, who are the entrepreneurs, who are people that you know that are constantly trying to start up something, whether they're succeeding or failing. I don't care if they're failing, because that means they're trying. And so any entrepreneur does for me. Successful people, people who have a lot of contacts, business builders, athletes, fitness junkies, you know, successful people. Something that I hear a lot is that, well, they already make $1 million a year. They don't need more money. They make $1 million because they want more money, because they have something to do with that money, and they want more money. So go talk to them. Don't leave them off your list. And so here's what I'll tell you. Some of you are probably on your cell phone right now watching us, and you're going, well, I've already exhausted my list. When we get off this webinar, off this live stream, I want you to get your phone out, and I want you to go through your contact list. And if there's somebody you've not reached out to, I want you to take that contact name and their number and put it on paper and start reaching out to them this week. And so, Brandon, I'm going to let you touch on any list-making strategies that you've got.
Well, I'll say this. The number one excuse I hear for people quitting network marketing, I've been in this thing for a little over a decade, and I run into people in Walmart. I see them in, you know, whatever, wherever, out and about, and they're ducking and dodging, and they're hiding in the, you know, they're trying to hide from you because they quit the business, and they feel a little bit, you know, discouraged or embarrassed, whatever. And of course, I don't care. It doesn't matter. We did okay. You know, people quit our business, and we did fine. But I see inevitably you end up bumping into them, right? And then they say, oh, I know I need to be doing that Zija stuff. I need to get plugged back in. And I'm thinking, well, I didn't bring that. I'm okay. Like, we didn't, you know, I didn't bring Zija up. They brought it up. But then out of their mouth comes the excuse. And the number one excuse I hear is that I ran out of people to talk to. And let me tell you what happens every time I hear that. I giggle inside. Of course, I don't do it to their face. I giggle inside, and I think to myself, there's 7 billion people on the planet, my friend. Like, are you kidding me? And here's the secret. They're not going to stop making people anytime soon.
That's right.
They make new ones every single day, right? So there's not a lack of people to talk to or to go find and interact with. What there is there's a lack, or people are lazy in list making. So let me tell you, if you let's think about it like this. If you were to add a habit, see, successful people are successful by habits, right? I think it was Aristotle. He said, excellence is a habit, right? And so at the end of the day, the habits that we have end up making us. And so if you were to add this habit to your life, add a new name to your list every single day. If you find that you don't have a list and you don't have people to talk to, make it a habit to do your best to add one new person to your list every single day. At the end of a year, how many names is that? My friends, that is 365 new names. Let me tell you something. If you peak, pass, and plug, which is what we're going to talk about real briefly, if you peak, pass, and plug 3 people or 1 person every single day for 365 days, if you did that, I'm telling you, you're going to find a couple of people that want to build this business, and your business is going to grow, right? So at the end of the day, the list is the gasoline to if Zija is the vehicle, your list is your gasoline. So when do you want to run out of gas? Never. Remember the example I gave you, most people treat this like a lottery ticket. They think of 4, 5, 6 people. They go verbally throw up all over those people. They do it all wrong, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with messing it up. We all mess it up. But those people don't join their business or join as a customer, and they get frustrated and they say, oh, this doesn't work, and they just toss the business and out like it was yesterday's news, and they forget about it. And so I'm just challenging you not to do that, because if you'll treat this business like a real business, it will pay you that way. This business will pay you like millions of dollars if you'll treat it like $1 million business. And so take the list seriously, because it's the number one. I'm helping you out here. I'm giving you the advantages. It's the number one excuse people give as to why they quit the business. So just don't be that person. You're excited. You're ready to get started. So just know that this is your gasoline. So keep adding the list. When does it stop growing? Never. We add to our list every single week. We're always adding to our list, and we're not lazy in list making. That's why we don't run out of people to talk to. There's people all around you. Your cell phone's holding hundreds of people. You're watching this online. You probably have thousands of people on Facebook, and you're connected to lots of people. So just get them on paper, write them down, like Jess said, and I spend a lot of time there in big trainings that we do, because it's so important for you to understand. Think about this. I don't want to take all the time here, but I want you to understand it's an important thing. Listen, if you've only got 5 people on your list written down, and then you call one of them, that one, and you're just getting started. You don't have a lot of, maybe don't know how to do this. You don't have a lot of skill yet. Maybe you call one person off your list and they shoot you down. They reject you. They say, hey, that's stupid. I can't believe you're doing that. Well, if you've only got 5 people on your list, think about your posture. What's happening in your head? You're thinking, oh my goodness, there went 20% of my list. 1 out of 5, boom, it's gone, right? 20% of your list is gone if you've only got 5 people on your list. And so let's flip it a little bit. What if you had a list of 100 names written down? You call the first person, they say, nah, it's not for me. I don't want anything to do with it. You're like, okay, who cares? I've got 99 other people to call. See ya, right? They say no, you say next, right? And your posture is very different. And there's a lot of reasons as to why that's important psychologically, because that prospect that you just said next to, they're thinking, well, man, they must not really need me, right? So you're not coming across as desperate because you got 99 other people to call. Let me tell you something. Dogs don't chase parked cars. Dogs chase cars that are moving. So if you're moving and people see that, they're thinking, man, I might need to be a part of this, right? There's a lot of posture, a lot of psychology that we don't have time to go into about that. So just take our advice. Build a big list to start with, and then before you start reaching out to that list, get with somebody and say, hey, how do I reach out to this list the right way? How do I properly do that?
Absolutely. And so we're going to give you a couple of tips right now. I guarantee you it's not going to be enough. And so like you said, reach back out to the person who sponsored you, to those leaders that are above you and surrounding you. Reach out to them for additional advice. That's what they're there for. And so we're going to go over the simple system that we use. And it's not the only system, but it is the system that I would say the majority of proven networkers have used it. And that's what they teach other people to use. And so what I can tell you is, okay. Oh, sorry, Brandon's moving a camera. So what I can tell you is it's 3 simple steps, and we're going to kind of tweak it a little bit for you, but it's 3 steps, and I want you to write it down. Number 1 is peak, P-I-Q-U-E. Number 2 is pass, and number 3 is plug. And so you have peak, pass, and plug. And there's a certain way that you do this. I don't want to get too in depth with it, but Brandon does a great job again at sharing this, and then I'm probably going to come in on the back end and tweak a little bit about what he says, but I'm going to let Brandon share with you peak, pass, plug, and how you can utilize it to reach out to the people on your list and invite them to take a look at what you're doing now.
Awesome. So here's the deal. I can sum up what we do in whether it's peak, pass, plug, or whatever system you're using. I would encourage you to use that. But here's what we do. I can sum it up in 2 phrases. We get people in front of the information, doing as little talking as possible, and then we get them on the phone or in front of someone other than ourselves. And guys, Jessica and I, as top income earners in our company, reach some of the top levels in network marketing. We still do this. We still get them in front of the info, doing as little talking as possible, And then we get them on the phone or in front of someone other than ourselves. Like Jess said, there's a lot of psychology behind why we do it this way, but for now, just take our word for it. This is the mechanics. This is the how-to. I'm going to tell you the how, not a whole lot of the why. Just trust me on this. So peak, here's what that means. It means don't puke, right? Peak interest, don't puke all over them, right? Don't give them all of the information. See, we need to be having conversations and not presentations, okay? So peak interest, create curiosity. So I'm going to give you 2 examples, and you tell me, or you maybe even comment in the comment box which one, number 1 or number 2, which one you think is peaking, which one is puking. So here's one example. Hey, listen, Joe, I'm so excited. I got something I just got started with. It's Zija International. It's 92 verifiable nutrients, 36 anti-inflammatories, 46 antioxidants, omegas 3, 6, and 9. It's moringa, and my favorite color is green. And Ken Brailsford's a billionaire, and there's this kid named Brandon. He lives retired in Florida, and he's driving a Benz. And, you know, people are making millions of dollars, and I'm so excited. Will you please take a look at this, right? That's what most people do, or a version of that, right? Yeah. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Some people do a version of that.
Somebody probably did it to you.
Yeah, right. Some people do that to their prospects. So that's scenario number 1. Here's scenario number 2. Hey, listen, Joe, I don't have a lot of time to talk right now because I'm walking into a meeting. And listen, I wanted to call you. I've been meaning to talk to you. I just got attached to some really successful people. They're working on a project, and I'm just really fortunate to be attached to them. And, you know, they linked up with me. They're expanding business. They asked me if I knew anyone that had some integrity and had some character, you know, would be open to looking at what they're doing. And I thought of you. In fact, I put your name at the top of the list, and that's why I'm calling you. Like I said, I got to get out of here. But listen, if I were to shoot you a link to a video or 2 that would share with you what they're doing, could you take a look at that today? And if so, what time can we chat a little bit later on tonight? I'll get your questions answered.
Pretty simple. So
obviously the second scenario is peaking, right? You notice in the second scenario, I didn't say much. I didn't say moringa. I didn't say Zija. I didn't say Ken Brailsford or Mercedes-Benz or any of that stuff. I just said, hey, I've got something I want you to take a look at. Will you take a look at it, right? So we get people in front of the info, doing as little talking as possible. I know that sounds counterintuitive. I know that's not what's typical, what you think of when you think of what you should go out and do. And you're excited and you want to spew all the information. But just let me help you. Your people, they don't want to be sold. They don't want to be convinced, especially your friends and family. You don't want to be a part of the NFL, the no friends left club, right? You don't want to be the weirdo at the family reunion and everybody says, oh, here comes Brandon. He's going to sell us some tree juice. You know, you don't want to be that guy. And so don't be that person. Instead of puking all over everybody, just be disciplined. And it's going to take some practice. If you puke all over some people, it's okay. I did it too. We all do it. I got excited. But listen, just practice and be disciplined. It's maybe even worth writing it down and practicing in the mirror if you have to, but be disciplined and just pique their interest, pique their curiosity. See, what is an animal? If some of you guys that are maybe hunters or you've hunted before, you know, what is an animal in the forest? If it knows it's being hunted, what does it do? Well, the animal runs. Why? Because it doesn't want to die. See, that's what your prospects are doing. They're running because they don't want to die, right? And so instead, what's another example, another analogy? It's fishing. You see, fishing is a very different experience. It's a much more enjoyable experience for both parties involved. You see, in fishing, I throw something out into the water that the fish actually wants. The fish wants it. How do I know the fish wants it? Because the fish comes to it. You see, the fish comes to the bait, and then what do? Do you immediately jerk it in the boat? No, of course not. You just tug on it a little bit, and you reel, and you tug, and you reel. And eventually, after some time, the fish is with you in the boat. You're both in the boat, right? So fishing is a much more enjoyable experience. That's much more like what we do in network marketing as opposed to, you know, traditional hardcore high pressure sales. This is not high pressure convincing, begging, selling. Guys, we don't have to beg and sell and convince. We show and go. We're sorters. We're sorting the people that are ready to get started now from the people that are not ready to get started yet. And there's going to be more that are not ready yet, and that's okay. We're just looking for a couple. So pique interest and then pass them to a tool.
And before you hit that, I want to add something in.
Yeah.
So I want to share with you something on peak that Brandon and I both did when we got started in Zija that did not serve us well. And it's something that 99.9 No, let's just say 100% of networkers do when they get started in network marketing. And so maybe you haven't done this yet, and maybe I'm going to save you. We'll see. But most people, when they get into Zija, and if I had my phone, I'd probably pull it up. But 6 years ago when I got started, I took time and I wrote out this really awesome Facebook message. And I sent it out to like 300 people. And do you know how many responses I got? 0. Goose egg. Why? Because they thought I was spamming them. They thought somebody had hacked into my account. They were like, I don't know you to know anything about health. I don't know what you're doing in business. You've never made any money. Why are you talking to me about this? And so I'm telling you that you can do it. It might not be the best decision, but you can do it. There are better ways. And one way that I wanted to share with you, Brandon hit on 2 great ways that you can reach out to people. We're in an assorting business. That's what we're always doing. But he mentioned in peaking, we're having conversations. And so we're not going out and hunting people. Something that when you're in network marketing, just be okay with getting to know more people. Even the people you already know, it might be, your sister or your cousin. Go get to know them a little bit better and find out an area in life that you can help them with. The great thing about Zija is that Zija offers a solution to almost everything in life. Whether it's something to do, with them, with their health, they want to be healthier, they want to live this more organic, all natural lifestyle, we can help them with it. They want to make more money, we can help them with it. They want to go on more vacations, they want to move to Florida, they want to go to Australia, we can help them with it. And so the only thing we can't get them taller. Me and Brandon both tried, it didn't work. But, we can help with most things. And so if you'll just go have more conversations, genuine conversations where you're asking, what can I help you out with in life? What are you striving for right now? Go have that conversation with more people. And you'll find this business to be, number one, a lot simpler. I won't say easy, because I don't think anything in life is easy when it's worth it, but it'll be a lot simpler. And it's just going to be more enjoyable because you're going to find ways to help people inside or maybe outside of Zija, and you're going to sleep really good at night. Knowing that you've done something for someone else and it's impacted their life positively. And so that's peak. The next thing we want to do, like you said, is pass. There's a couple of ways that we can do this, and I'm going to share my way and let Brandon dive in a little bit more. But when we speak about pass, it's passing them to a tool. And what are your tools? You are not a tool. And so what are your tools? Your tools are videos. Your tools are the websites. It's, maybe you have newspapers from Sound Concepts. If you don't know that website, ask your leaders. But it's some sort of tool. It's something other than you. It's something where you're pulling information and letting the prospect, your cousin, your brother, your uncle, your aunt, let them go look at it on their own time. Don't do it with you there on the first, when you first, try to tell them about Zija or offer for them to take a look, you don't pass them to a tool for them to look at later. And what I want you to do, and this is so very important, is really put the emphasis on getting back in touch with them within 48 hours. And that's, if you don't do that, you might lose them. And the point is, the reason for that is because, it's at the top of their mind, and we want to play with that, right? So we want you to go ahead and schedule with them when you're going to follow up. So, hey, you told me this is where you're struggling, and I have a solution for that. I really want to show you something that I can help you out with. And I really want to, I'm busy now. Always say you're busy. It's so simple. We're always busy. And so just say you're busy. You don't want to talk about it right now, but you'll be free at 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. What would work best for you? And they're going to let you know a time that's going to work best for them. Try to nail it down within 48 hours. And all you're going to do is say, watch this before we get on the phone, so you kind of have an idea about what we're talking about. And, maybe you have a couple of questions, but I'll explain more to you when we get on the phone. So that's how we peak. We find what they're struggling with. We find where we can help them in the peak. Then we pass them to a tool and we schedule that follow-up time within 48 hours. If you don't schedule, you don't have a pass. You have to schedule that part of the plan, right? You have to schedule that. And so, Brandon, I'll pass it over to you to talk about the pass.
Yeah, you're right. If you don't have a time schedule, then or for a follow-up, then you've not passed them, right? you might as well just take a stack of business cards and throw them in a parking lot in a mall or something and hope that somebody calls you back, because it's the same thing, right? So the key is getting the time locked in, and you know, we have some things that we say and we do that make sure that people answer when we call them. But the main thing I want to talk about is I want you to understand that if your mouth is moving and you're not either sharing a quick story or pointing to a third-party tool like a video or a conference call or a website or something like Jess talked about, if you're not doing one of those two things and your mouth is moving, you're probably saying too much. You're probably not doing the business correctly, and you're probably going to talk them right out of the business. You're going to talk them right out of this thing, and they're going to be feeling like they're hunted or they're being sold, or they're like, you know, they're not listening. They're tuning out immediately. So the number one mistake that brand new people in Zija or network marketing in general make is they just talk too much. That's it. That's it. So you can do this. You can not talk and point to tools and pass people instead of giving them a class, simply pass them to a tool. So I think Jess did a great job of covering it. So we'll go on to the next P.
Right. So after we pass them, we've scheduled a time to follow up, and now it's time to actually follow up. And so my prospect said, you know, they'd be free at 8 o'clock tonight. And so at 8 o'clock, I'm going to call them. I'm not going to call at 8:05. I'm going to call them at 8 o'clock. Be on time. Schedule it in your phone. Do whatever reminders you have to do. But here's what you also need to do. You need to find another person, another leader that you can connect them with. You don't have to connect them like hardcore, oh, this person wants to lose 5 pounds, who's lost 5 pounds. Don't be so strict on yourself. You're going to give yourself a headache doing that. Just, you know, connect them to somebody. It doesn't matter who it is. Absolutely does not matter. Just put them on the phone with somebody else. Because the point of this is for them to see and hear another story, see other people who are involved in what you're involved with, that it's not just you. And so what you're going to do when you call them is you're going to say 3 very simple questions. And so I'm going to let Brandon share those 3 simple questions, and I'll take it back over.
So I remember I talked to Joe earlier. I called him. I said, hey, man, I'm about to walk into work. I'm walking into a meeting, whatever. I've only got a few seconds. I want you to look at something. You just got attached to some great people, whatever. However you peak them, you figure out your peak, whatever it looks like. I scheduled a time later that night to talk with him. He said 7 o'clock. I said, great. 7:01, I'm going to call you. Be sure you pick up. All right, see you, buddy. And then 7:01 rolls around. In the meantime, between the time I talked to Joe, I peeked him and I passed him, and the time that I'm going to do the plug call, the plug portion of this, I've texted multiple people like Jessica said, and I've got someone lined up for the call. Let's say my friend John is my expert, and he's on standby and he's ready to be my plug for that call. So I call my prospect Joe, and I'm going to ask him 3 questions. Now, you may make these questions your own. Listen, we don't want you to be robotic. We want you to be systematic, but not robotic. We don't want you to be Brandon and Jessica. We want you to be the best first version of yourself. So you might tweak this and make it your own a little bit. But here's the questions. Hey, Joe, did you get a chance to look at that video that I sent you? Or did you get a chance to listen on that call that I sent you, that recording, whatever? So did you look? That's the first question. He says yes. I move on to the second question. Now, what if he says no? If he says no, here's what I do. Hey, Joe, listen, man, this is a big, big deal. We're moving fast. Listen, you're busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. But can you drop what you're doing and look at it right now? It's only going to take you about 15 minutes. I'll call you back in about 20 minutes if that'll work for you, right? If Joe says, no, I don't really have time right now, I'll take it away from him. I'll say, Joe, hey, this is probably not for you. That's okay. I'll catch back up with you maybe in the next 90 days, and I'll kind of let you know how things are going. Click, I'm done. He says no, I say what? Next. Why? Because I'm sorting. I'm not convincing. I'm just sorting the people that are ready now from the people who are not ready yet. But let's say Joe says, yes, I looked at the video. So I move on to the second question. The second question is, hey, Joe, what did you like best? So that's the question. What did you like best? Here's how I say it. What did you like best, Joe? Was it the products? Was it the income opportunity? Or was it maybe kind of a combination of the two? Now, there's a lot of psychology behind why I say it that way. I don't have time to get into that tonight, but that's how I say it. What did you like best, product, business, or both? Joe says, well, I kind of like both. Both of them look, you know, the products are pretty much a no-brainer. In the business, I'm always open to making more money. So I say, great, Joe, me too. Whatever Joe says, I just agree. I say, yeah, me too. And then I move on to my third question. My third question is, hey, Joe, what questions do you have? that I can get answered for you. That's how I say it. So what I'm going to ask Joe is, what questions do you have? And so Joe says, well, how much this and that is in Moringa, or he might say, how do I get started? Or, are there different ways, so whatever his question is, I don't care what it is. I'm going to say, Joe, that's a great question. And I had some questions like that when I first took a look at this too. I want to get that answered for you the right way. So hold on just 1 second. And then I put Joe on hold. I click over to John, who's on standby and is ready to take my call. And I say, John, I've got Joe on the other line. I want to connect you to him. Can you share your story and just answer his questions? Great. Thanks, John. I merge the call. Now, Joe and John are both on the call with me. And I say to Joe, hey, thanks for holding, Joe. Here's what I did. I brought a friend of mine, a business partner, on the phone, and his name is John. And John is one of the top people in the company. He's fully qualified to answer your questions. He's an expert. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for him. He can answer your questions. He glows in the dark. He's bulletproof. He walks on water. I'm kidding. I wouldn't say that. But the point is, I'm building John up. You see what I'm doing here? I'm building John up, and I'm giving John credibility on the call. I'm giving him authority on the call so that Joe, my prospect, knows that John is not just some Joe Schmo off the street. He's somebody that has credibility and can answer his questions. So then I say, John, I'm going to turn the call over to you. Can you share your story and answer my friend Joe's questions? And I hit mute on my phone, and I am done talking. So let's review real quick. All I've done is I've piqued Joe's interest. I've then passed him to a tool to take a look at, a video. The video did all the talking. It explained all about Moringa and Ken Brailsford and the natural health revolution. And then I called him later on, and I plugged him into my friend John. So how much talking have I done? Not much. And at the end of this process, here's what's going to happen in my prospect Joe's head, in his mind. Joe is going to be thinking, well, Brandon didn't really do that much. All he did was send me to watch that video, and then he just put me on the phone with that John guy, and John answered all my questions. And so Joe's going to be thinking, I can do what Brandon did. And Joe's going to be much more likely to join the business. So at the end of the day, that's a little bit of the psychology. Of course, there's a lot more that we don't have time to go in depth, but that's peak, pass, plug. That's how we do it. We pique their interest. We pass them to a third-party tool and plug them into someone else, and that's the system.
Absolutely, and I think you did a really good job in explaining all of that. And so here's what I'll tell you is at the end of that plug call where the prospect is on there and you're on mute, number one, don't interrupt. You built the prospect up. Don't tear them down by interrupting and you feeling like you need to interject something. They're going to turn the call back over to you, and when they do, then it's your call. You can do and say what you want. Here's what I would suggest that you say. Number one, thank them for taking the time out of their day for helping you out with your call. Secondly, when you talk to your prospect, you want to ask them one simple question. And you don't want to get into this 30-minute long conversation after they've talked to the expert because they'll forget everything the expert said. You want to ask them one simple question so you can move on in the process, and that is, what info do you need to make the decision to join us today? Join us, not me. What info do you need to join us today to make that decision? And they're going to tell you exactly what they want. Here's what I challenge you to do. Only give them that. Don't say, oh, they want to know about comp plan, so can you send me like what Moringa is and what all's in Moringa too, and I'll pass that over to them. Just give them the comp plan video. Just that. Because once you pass them that comp plan video, you're going to follow up with them within 24, 48 hours. Okay? So every time you ask them, what info do you need to make the decision join us today? They tell you, you give, you follow up, you ask. It's a very simple system. And then once they finally say, you know, I don't think I need any more information, don't freeze. don't go, oh my gosh, what do I do? Say, great, let's get you started then. What package do you want to get started with? Because then they're going to say, well, I don't know. What are the packages? And then you can schedule a call to get them on the phone with someone else to explain the best way for them to get started. Okay? So very simple. I hope you're taking notes. This is being recorded. I think this is really powerful for you to come back and watch a couple of times. But we've gone through peak, pass, and plug. And if you'll follow this simple system, and even if you want to tweak it a little bit, as long as you use this as the white lines on the road, you can swerve all you want to. Just stay between these white lines, okay? So I want to move on, and I want to give you one action step to take from tonight, and that's to schedule. If you've not done this, or if you have done it and you don't have one scheduled for this week, schedule an event. Whether it's a home event, whether you're putting it in a public place like at a restaurant, in a private room, whatever it is, I want you to schedule an event, and I want you to invite at least 10 people, and I want you to invite them through using the Peak Pass plug system. I want you to invite them to come to your event to support you in your business, and just take a look. Just be open-minded. Just ask them to do that. So you're going to invite 10 people, and you're going to schedule an event for this week, whether it's in your home or in a public place. And all you need to do is, number one, you can ask if you have a leader in your area, someone that's bronze or above, or maybe you're, Builder 500, Builder 1000, and you feel qualified to get up there and talk, go for it, do it. I think that there are leaders that come in and are leaders from day one. I don't think you have to hit a leadership rank to be a leader. And so get up there, present the info. And what does one of these events look like? It's simple. You're going to welcome everyone to the event, thank them for coming, and you're going to share why you joined Zija. What is it that you were struggling with in life, and how was Zija the answer for you? You're going to share that story. If there's someone else in the room that wants to share theirs, they can share theirs too. And then you're going to play a video. You're going to play the Zija International introduction video. It's like 10 minutes long. It's perfect. It gives them all the details that they need if they're taking a look for the first time. You're going to play that video. And after the video, you're still not going to do the talking. You're going to get someone on the phone or have a Gold Plus member in the room close out the event. And what they're going to do is they're going to share their full story and maybe go into a couple of the details about Zija. We like to always hit on 3 points and give 3 questions. I'm not going to share that with you because we're going to have a leadership training as well. So if you're listening to this and you're bronze, gold, plus, we are going to be doing a leadership training like this probably in the next week or so. I haven't scheduled it yet, but we're going to be doing one specifically for you to share with you how you should be doing, connection calls, how you should be doing home events, and different things as a leader in the business. And so you're going to do welcome 10 people into the event, show the video, have someone close it out, and what's the question you're going to ask? What info do you need to make the decision to get started with me today? And you're done. You're going to move on to the next step, whether it's inviting them to another event, getting them on the phone with someone else. And that's what the challenge is for you, to have an event over the next 7 days. We're going to do it. We challenge you to do it. And just invite 10 people. And so that's all I have for you. I told you guys that you were welcome to write some questions down before this. I wasn't going to be doing Q&A during the webinar. And so I did take one question. I'm going to hit on one question that someone asked, and I think it is probably something that really helps Brandon and I get organized, because you guys have heard a lot and it can get really out of whack. And so there's one thing that we did that helped us really control our prospects as much as they can be controlled, right? To make sure that we were doing what we should be doing. And so I'm going to grab a note card really quick so I can actually hold it up. Let's see if we can find one that wouldn't mind me showing their names. All right, we're going to do Rachel's. And so I've got a note card. You guys have seen these little note cards before. And so if you don't have any of these, go get some. They're cheap. We all need them. And so what you'll see is that I've written, see if we can get this up here so you guys can see it. We've written a name at the very top. Her name's Rachel. And I don't know, maybe I should cover up her last name. I don't think she'll mind. She's probably watching. I hope she is. So we wrote Rachel's name at the top, and this name was written. I didn't put a date beside it, but that's probably a really good idea. Put a date beside them, just so you can know how long the process is.
We move through people so fast.
Yeah.
We just,
So Rachel and I had a conversation. She wanted to learn more. And so what we did is I gave her a sample. I typically don't lead with samples, but she wanted one, and it was for her kids. So I gave her some Ripsticks. I sent her to the Ripsticks website, and then she saw a short presentation through a networking event that we were together at. And then we had a couple of calls that I put her on. She was on a call with 2 other leaders on our team that I thought she would kind of relate with. It was 2 other ladies that are incredible members. And so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exposures that she had before she joined us with a diamond kit. And all this means is that we always put the name at the top. And I know that as I'm going down through here and I'm making a mark as to, you know, what are they doing? What have I sent them to? You know, who have they talked to? Where are they at in the process? The closer I'm getting to the bottom, the closer they're probably going to get to getting started. And so I love these note cards. There's like 8 or 9 little lines there that you can use. And it's just fact. When someone gets to 5 exposures, they're over 80% chance getting started. And so just know that if you'll use these note cards, this is so simple, guys. As soon as every night or every morning, wherever you want to do this, just write down any new prospects that you've made and that you're going to pass information to. There's some cards that we have that just have a name. And it's not that, you know, we just haven't got to them. It's just that, you know, hey, that's somebody that they're not ready yet for me to share it with them, but they're on my radar. And I want to be sure that I'm creating conversations with them often to help figure out some way that Zija can be inserted into their life. And so write their names at the top of these note cards and then start writing down every little step that you do with them. And then when they get started, write on it what they get started with and don't throw it away. Hold on to it, because at the end of the year, I'm hoping that we have a huge stack of these. Because we just started this, I think, at the beginning of this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We have several of them. And so that's our tips for you. I hope this has been very powerful for you. It's been an exactly 1 hour, about 30 minutes over what I wanted to do. But I hope it's been valuable. And so I'm very excited for all of you being a part of Zija International. We're excited for where we're going this year. It's Zija 10 at 10, baby, and we're going to pack it out. So, Brandon, any last words?
No, I just want to, you know, officially welcome you to the team if you're just getting started and say congratulations. Listen, outside of my faith and outside of my decision to marry Jessica, it's been the best decision that we could have possibly made.
Absolutely.
It's put us in a position to have freedom and choices and options and a lifestyle that we never could have reproduced. So, you know, things like this, you know, does that take some effort? Yeah, of course it does. This is a business, right? It's just called being intentional. And if you'll be intentional with this business, I am telling you, it's not always easy, but it is worth it. It's worth it to get up, you know, 5 minutes earlier and stay up 5 minutes later and maybe make some tweaks in your lifestyle. And I promise you, it's going to be worth it if you'll stay consistent with some activities like what we've talked about tonight and understand you're not going to get it perfect. You're not going to get it right. You got to be bad before you're good and good before you're great. But before all that, you just got to start. And so this is a starting point for you. And so take action. Let's get some people in the funnel, do an event, start peeking, passing, and plugging a couple of people off of your list. And then you can start putting them on some of these note cards if you choose to do it that way, which I would highly recommend so you can keep up with it. But just get started. That's the key. It's the start that stops most people. We want you to start. And you're going to bump your elbow and you're going to scrape your knee a couple of times. But that's what the support team is here. The 2 reasons why this business works. Number 1 is because we have a simple system that anybody can do. Anybody can say, hey, go watch this video, and then put them on the phone with somebody else. And the second reason, the most important reason, the thing that separates Zija Nation from all the other companies out there is the culture of support that we've created. And culture eats strategy for breakfast. The support here, the team that you have here, let me tell you something. You will never fail in Zija for lack of training and lack of support. So we're so excited to be partnered with you. Whether you're a part of our team or not, we know there's multiple teams represented here. We'd love to get a chance to meet you at our Zija 10 at 10 event that's coming up, or at our Freedom Beach party that's coming up down in Florida.
Yes.
We want to welcome you. We want to invite you to come to that. If you need details to that, just get with us on Facebook. It's going to be coming up June 10th and 11th. And then, of course, our Zija 10 at 10 event is going to be insane. So we can't wait to meet you in person and spend some time with you, get to know you, get to know your reason why you're doing this, and help you any way that we can. So just know our hand is extended to you. We love you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Go check out live.jessicahayes.org. This is going to be sitting there on that website. All your resources are there. The details for the beach party are there. Go there. Everything's going to be right there for you. So get your team there. Show this to your team. Show it to your new team members. And until next time, you guys make it a great night. See ya.
See ya.